Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and today we're here to review Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Gate Rune and Dunan Unification Wars for the Nintendo Switch. This review was written by the wonderful Alana Higgs over on NintendoLife.com and has been adapted into this video by me and Sion. Few RPGs or video games deal with war and hope in the face of tyranny like the Suikoden series. Konami's prime RPG series, created by the late great Yoshitaka Murayama, is beloved by those who've played them, particularly the first two. They're about the underdogs, about those who want better for their country, and not at the cost of a life. In the face of war, we push back against tyrannical empires and oppressive governments in order to give the people and the oppressed hope and a better life. But Suikoden isn't just about war. As written in the Chinese epic The Water Margin, on which Suikoden is loosely based, a close neighbor means more than a distant relative. These games are all about interpersonal relationships and conflicts between friends and family, and they never shy away from the morally grey. But when ideals are challenged and faith is shaken, how does one maintain those bonds? Suikoden manages to balance topics and oppression, racism, politics, and familial relationship and friendships with delicacy and heart. Released on the PlayStation in 1995 and 1998 respectively, there's a timeliness and relevance to Suikoden 1 and 2 that still feels important. These are two excellently paced, snappy RPGs that go by in the blink of an eye, and with Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, they feel smoother and snappier than ever before. The HD Remaster is based on the Japan-exclusive PSP port of the first two games, and includes all of the bug fixes and improvements there, such as 8-directional movement, widescreen support, movie galleries, and a place to listen to both games' beautiful soundtracks. And you can also dash from the get-go without the need of the Holy Rune. These are largely the very same games from the 90s, but that's by no means a bad thing. Auto battle and later on fast travel come as standard, but the remaster adds a few new features to the package. You can speed up combat at the press of a button, or 2 presses once you've recruited a certain character. The menus have all been tidied, it's much easier to compare characters' equipment when buying new gear, and both games' localizations have been cleaned up, particularly notable in Suikoden 2, which suffered from some often criticized mistranslations. The visual department, however, is where both Suikoden 1 and 2 have received the biggest glow-up. All the backgrounds from the battle areas, towns and even the world map have been improved dramatically and everywhere looks fantastic. This hasn't come at the cost of the beautiful sprite work either, which the improved lighting and colors have enhanced. These are not the Vaseline-filtered sprites we're used to seeing in some other HD remasters. And all of the character portraits have been improved too, most notably in Suikoden 1. Both games look absolutely fantastic on Switch, particularly on an OLED. This is the way to play them in our book, even if the Switch versions run at 30 FPS, and there are a few performance issues, though only in Suikoden 2 in scenes where there's lots of fire or some extremely long spell animations. There are though a couple of baffling changes, or lack of changes, that are either present or missing in the HD Remaster. First, inventory management in Suikoden 1 is unsure. Every character has their own inventory, most of which will be taken up by equipped armor and accessories, and there's no shared inventory for items or spare equipment like in the sequel. Less annoyingly, though still notable, fast forward in combat also speeds up the battle music, something we hope Konami will fix. And fast forward is only available in standard combat, meaning if you want to run on the overworld, you still need to add a certain star of destiny to your party. But perhaps the weirdest thing is the addition of autosave, which you'd think is a godsend, but is actually pretty poorly implemented here. Autosave only activates when you walk into a screen with a journeyman's orb, a save point. With a few long stretches of battle and dungeons, and some particularly finicky character recruitments in Suikoden 2, this can actually hinder progress. It's only useful in a few instances where you can't reach the save point on a screen before a forced battle, but these are few and far between. These issues don't take away from the games themselves, however, and both play excellently to this day. Suikoden's simple turn-based combat is elevated in its speed and its variety of characters, and you'll need to select just where in your lineup each character stands. Short-range characters can only attack from the front, while medium and long-range can go from the back. And certain combinations of characters have unique attacks, which use both characters' turns, but also allows them to do devastating attacks to either a single or enemy group. The runes also have multiple uses. Some give characters access to magic or special attacks that allow them to hit multiple times, while others provide them with status effects that enhance attack or deal poison or elemental damage. Not all characters can equip runes, and in Suikoden 2, multiple characters get access to multiple rune slots, allowing you to customize your party in multiple different ways. Turn-based combat isn't the only way to do battle. In both games, you'll also need to take part in one-on-one duels where you have to learn how to react to your opponent depending on what they say in a rock, paper, scissors style format. Attack beats defense, defense beats special attack beats attack. These are incredibly cool and always come at poignant moments in the narrative, adding to the weight of the story. Then there are army battles, which vary between Suikoden 1 and 2. In 1, that rock, paper, scissors formula carries over, but with attack ranged and magic. Some characters have abilities that allow you to see what their opposing army is going to do next, or you can use the character to buff certain attacks. It's simple but effective. Suikoden 2's army battles, however, play out like a miniature strategy RPG. Many of these are scripted, with most fights highlighting the sheer gulf between your own rebel army and the Highland Kingdom's forces. That can be pretty frustrating, and some of these battles are a little slow, but narratively they work. Then there's also the series' defining trait, the 108 Stars of Destiny, which embodies the series' focus on community and the power of unity. Once you get a castle, you can start recruiting an army of characters to either help you in combat or live at your base to help out in other ways, such as running shops, opening a bathhouse, growing crops, or even running a restaurant. Some of the event triggers for these, mostly in Suikoden 2, are frustratingly vague, so without a guide you'll struggle to get all 108. But it still never gets old watching your base expand and fill up over time. What impressed us most about revisiting these games isn't about how they both stood the test of time, but just how ambitious they are and how effectively both games fulfill that ambition. Suikoden might be simplistic on the surface, but it laid the foundation for the rest of the series that was largely unshaken for 5 mainline entries. Suikoden 2 then took that formula and ran with it, improving it in almost every single way. It truly deserves its status as one of the best RPGs of all time. So in conclusion, while not as feature-rich as some collections, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster proves that these RPGs have largely stood the test of time. While the issues with this remaster don't take away too much from the original game's brilliance, we think these classics deserve the very best. Boasting ambition, narrative stakes, and heart that few other RPGs of the time can muster, Suikoden burns bright in its origins, and we hope Konami sees just how important this series is to many and makes a handful of tweaks. We here at Nintendo Live give Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster a 8 out of 10. And now with the review done, it's time for Felix's personal thoughts. I was really excited about this release. I had not played the originals, but it intrigued me, especially when people kept going on about how the second game is just one of the best games of all time. And now, having spent a few hours capturing gameplay for this review, I can safely say that yes, these games are really good. I particularly was really impressed with just how good the first one was. The pacing was just really great and had some twists and turns that I just did not see coming at all. Auto battle is a godsend because, yeah, the combat is quite simple. You can attack, defend, use items, use runes, and then combo characters. But in a lot of battles, you might just want to attack. So when you auto battles, all your characters will just attack. And you can even speed this up, as Alana says, and yeah, it just really improved my enjoyment of these two games. I intend to go back and finish these two games because they lived up to the expectations, I would say. I didn't pay too much attention to a lot of the dialogue in the second one because I felt like I was getting spoiled with the first one. But with the first one, I was really into it, and I want to go back. It looks fantastic on the OLED, so I can't wait to just be able to play in handheld. I had to play on a monitor to capture the gameplay, but yeah, they look really great. Now, they are all games, and that can definitely be felt, but also they are very timely. The narrative and dialogue is really gruesome at times, but I also think that's why so many people enjoy these games. You have to come together as a group of individuals and stand up against an oppressive big army. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. If you think turn-based RPGs are any fun, you will definitely enjoy this one, as these two games are some of the very best. If you enjoyed this review, why don't you first auto battle that subscribe button, come out victorious and give it a little click, and also check out our website nintendoLife.com where you can find reviews like these but in written form. Stay safe and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.